Hi. So I just wanted to have a little ramble about this arrangement of the Lord's Prayer by D.J. Bridges, and what I've done is I've entered it into Harmony Builder, which basically analyzes the different voice leading movements and take a look at where it modulates, what kind of cadences it has, and some of the devices which Bridges uses in the tune. So let's just play it once to hear what it sounds like. Okay, so it's probably played a little too fast, but the sounds are all wrong anyway. This is supposed to be for choir, so this is just to give you a general idea of what it sounds like. Now, the piece is written in D, but in fact it doesn't actually go to D at all until the very end. The very last chord is a D major, and one little place in the middle. So as we start the melody, it's a unison, and the first chord is a D minor 7. So basically, he starts off by creating a little sequence in A minor. Now, the reason I know it's A minor is because of what comes afterwards. And this passage from E7 to F major 7 is a deceptive cadence, a 5-2-6 sequence, and each of these chords is a very basic chord without too many alterations. When the chords light up in colors, that means that they're basically the triads or seventh chords. When they're just orange, it means there's maybe a slightly different interval. For example, if we look at this chord here, it's got a minor 7th, a major 2nd, and a perfect 5th. So you could say that's in fact a 9th chord without the 3rd. You could say the 3rd was replaced by the major 2nd. You know, if I take that major 2nd and nudge it up to the this note here, I'd have to nudge it up to that position there, and that would turn it into an E minor 7 chord. But anyway, that's what the chord that he wrote is. And I can also see what these chords are in the original, in whatever key they are, by clicking this menu. And so I know that this chord is a B diminished chord over D in the key of A minor. That's really how I decided that we're in A minor. So 4-7 going to a 2 chord. I can also select figured function, which tells me the function of the chord. So it's a 2 chord in first inversion, that's the 6, going to 5, and then the deceptive cadence to 6. And I'll just go for snapshot mode so we can hear the inner voices. Now right here, this is definitely a 7th chord, so a G7 with the 7th in the bass is going to take us to a C. And so I've stated the modulation to C major, and then he goes to the 3 chord, and now we're still in C, in the key of C, so we've got the dominant 7 chord, and rather than resolve to the C major, he resolves to C7, which means that we've now modulated to an F major. And still the C7. Now C7 usually resolves to an F major, but if you think of C7 as a tritone substitution of, say, an F sharp 7, then that could very well resolve down to the B7, which is what he does. So he's basically modulating from an F major to an E major, modulating down a half step, which is nice, and it's used in jazz a lot, as a matter of fact. And this is actually quite a jazzy chord. It's a sharp 9 chord to a B7 flat 9, so that melody note is the sharp 9 going down to the flat 9, and modulates where it and resolves where it should, which is the E major. A little bit of inner voice motion. Now the E major now becomes a dominant, the E7, with the 7th in the bass. As you can see, the 7ths are all red, 5ths are all green, roots are all grey, and 3rds are all blue. So as soon as we get this E7, we can check it here. We've gone either to an A major or an A minor, and I've suggested that it goes to an A major. Now here, this is interesting because he actually uses a diminished chord. It's this one right here, and it's not really clear to me why he spells it this way, because this diminished chord, which is basically a G double flat double sharp, which is an A. So we've got an A, C sharp, sorry, C natural, yep, and D sharp. So that diminished chord belongs to, it should belong to an A sharp minor. Now A sharp minor actually has, I believe it has 8 sharps, but so I don't really see why he wrote it as an A sharp minor. Why couldn't he have considered a B flat minor? And it would have made the spelling quite a bit easier if I change that enharmonically. You see, if I change that enharmonically from a D sharp to an E flat, that chord now becomes a diminished chord belonging to it's an A diminished over C, which belongs to the key of B flat minor, as a matter of fact. There we go, B flat minor. So B flat minor basically is 5 flats in the key signature, which I think would have been just an easier spelling. But anyway, he writes it as a G double sharp diminished over B sharp in the bass. So we'll put it back to what it was. And this is nice because this sequence where he has this diminished chord in A sharp minor, then basically repeats a whole step down. So first he does it in A minor, then he does it in G minor. So you've got this sort of sense of a sequence of 2 similar sequences, 2 similar chordal passages in that section of the music. Now here, actually, there is in fact a spelling mistake. Beyond doubt, this is a spelling mistake, because this diminished chord right here belongs to G sharp minor, because it's an F double sharp diminished, belongs to G sharp minor, and in a G sharp minor you don't have a B flat, you have an A sharp. So if I actually change that to, let's just change that to, there we go. I'd have to change this note to F double sharp and C sharp and this, and so as soon as I change the notes enharmonically to the correct spelling, then the notes change into the right coloring, suggesting that that diminished chord is in the key of G sharp minor, and it's an F double sharp diminished over an A sharp. But it's got to be spelt this way, otherwise it just doesn't, those notes are just not inside the G sharp minor scale. So that's okay, that's just about spelling. And then we resolve to a D major, and we've got this cadential 6/4, which resolves to the 5 with a ninth, and then the final resolution to D. So this is the first time we've actually resolved to the key in which the music is written. Now this next part is interesting because it modulates quite a lot. It goes to E flat, 4 flats, and then it goes to A flat, and then it goes to A flat. Well, then it's now A flat with the major 7th, and then we have this E diminished, which is belonging to F minor, but it doesn't actually resolve to F minor. And now, it's trying to get to F minor, but somehow he gets this E flat minor 7/11 chord in, and then he progresses down from E flat to D flat to C, and in doing so he's got 2 glaring parallel fifths right here. You've got the D flat, A flat going straight down to the C natural, G natural. So not quite sure how pleasant that is, but that's what he does. And then he's got the deceptive cadence again, so he goes from the 5 of the F minor, which is C7, to the D flat major with a sharp 4, slight alteration there. There's a hidden 5th here, which is not really too troubling because there's a half step between the 2 bass notes, so that's usually acceptable. And now we're back in A flat. Okay. Now this little section here reminds me of Autumn Leaves, where you go from 2 to 5 to 1, 7 to 4 to, and then you modulate to C, and it's 5, and then he just goes off into another direction. He goes back to A minor, diminished through, passing through the G sharp diminished 7, and this is good. Yeah, the 7th down here goes down a step to the E, so that voice leading is good. And then A minor becomes C7 with G in the bass, resolving to the F major, so now we're in F major. And now we basically repeat the same melodic pattern, but a whole tone up. So we're in F, now we go to G minor, and now the same melodic pattern, another tone up, and well, it's more like the rhythmic pattern is the same more than the melodic pattern. Now we're in A minor, so we've gone from F to G minor to A minor, going up in whole steps, and now we're finally in D major, and it concludes. There's a parallel fifths right there, and a dominant chord, and the resolution to the D chord back to the 1 of the key. So overall, quite a rambling piece with some interesting sort of jazzy chords, which don't seem to really hold together organically in the piece, but nice. I like the way it sort of goes into different corners, and that's my analysis of it. Thanks for listening.